Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Conversations Live, where we bring you the best in music, books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us. Now, here is your host, Cyrus Webb.
And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Conversations Live, where we connect you with the artists and authors you love, who bring you the music and books you can't get enough of. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. I want to first thank those joining us here on the radio side of our program that's tuning in through 92.3 FM. We'll welcome our good friends joining us online around the world, thanks to blogtalkradio.com. Either through our switchboard, our live chat, or our podcast, we're glad to have all of you with us. Our next guest is someone who actually hasn't been with us in 2 years. Author AnDerecco is back, though, to talk to us not only about what he's been up to in his literary journey, but also to discuss the 2 books he's released since his last visit, Undercover Lies and Torn. AnDerecco, good afternoon to you, and welcome to Conversations Live.
Thank you for having me.
Well, glad to have you on. And really, I should say you've released 3 books since the last time. You've been busy because Love to Love also came out after you and I were on before. So let's talk about the last 2 years, because I think one of the great things about what you've been able to do, AnDerecco, is to not only be able to find your voice, but to be able to share that voice with the world. What has that been like for you, to kind of see how people are responding to the characters you create, and also the situations that you put your characters into?
It has been an exciting journey to share my characters with the mass media, the world, I guess you could say. I've enjoyed the whole ride, to be honest with you. With each character that comes to mind, as you know, that a lot of the characters that I create or come up with, they are a part of who I am, and maybe some friends that I encounter, but I may just change the situation just a little bit. But it has been very, very, very exciting.
So, I think for those who may have missed our conversation, as I said, it has been 2 years ago, and they may have missed the first conversation. What was it about writing that initially attracted you to it? What was it that made you say, this is something I want to do?
When I first wrote Who Can I Run To, it was just something that a friend and I decided that we was going to do, just write a book together. And we was in college together, and after that we went on break. And so while we were on break, it seemed like the characters just kept speaking to me. And so I decided to just go ahead and write everything that I was hearing, that I was seeing, that I was envisioning. And I completed the book while we was on break. And when we returned to school is when I presented everything to him, and he was like, okay, cool, you can go ahead and go on with it. But since then, and when I finally, that was back in 1999, and so I shelved that book, Who Can I Run To, which it went through a number of name changes, and I shelved it for almost 10, 11 years. And it wasn't until 2011 when I said, it's time for me to do something with this. And that's when I decided to self-publish. And when I self-published it, of course it started with family and then friends and then, word of mouth. And it started to grow and grow and grow. And the response that I got from it, the character started, I guess you could say, started to speak to me again. And a few more characters were added to it. And to invent new characters, to create new characters, and just to hear their storyline is amazing. It's just exciting. That's where the storylines come from, pretty much.
Right. Well, one thing about I went back and reread the review that I wrote for your book, Torn. And I think one of the things that you have done that's kind of become a signature of yours is the way that you choose to write. And that is, your work can easily be taken from, just a book to actually, I think, the stage, because it's written almost like a play. Talk to us about how that style developed for you, because I've only interviewed just a couple of authors over the past few years that do that. What was it about that style that was appealing?
To be honest with you, when the writing script style is better for me, because I guess it goes back to kind of a learning disability that I have. When I read any type of book that I really enjoy, I can read it and I can comprehend it. I have a problem with comprehending certain things that I read. And ever since I was younger, I would always write in script and play style. And so when I started writing this one, when I would hear the characters and see the characters, I would just write their name out and what they say or their reaction and all this type of stuff. So I guess it kind of goes back to my learning style, the way I write. And it's quicker and it's easier for me to do it. And then when I got the reading some of the critiques and emails that I have gotten from certain people and all this kind of stuff, it's easier for them also. And then I started thinking about the way that Shakespeare wrote. And Shakespeare wrote a lot of his writing in play style and in script style. So I'm like, okay, well maybe this is just going to be me right here, just writing a script instead of just writing like the average writer.
Got you. And you know, and I think that's the thing about finding your own unique voice and being able to present that way. I want to say for those that are just tuning in, you're listening to Conversations Live. I'm speaking with author AnDerecco, and if you're friends with us on Facebook and following our fan page, we're actually giving away some copies of AnDerecco's books, Undercover Lies and Torn, here on our program. We're going to be gifting those to those. Pinky Stanisty is our first winner. That will be gifted a cover of Undercover Lies. So, Pinky, we're glad to be able to have you listening and participating with us. But AnDerecco was just talking with us about this journey for him, what it's been like for him to be able to share that with all of you. So, have you gotten used to the fact, AnDerecco, that people outside of your own circle are reading what you write? Has that become something now that you've gotten used to over the past couple of years?
Yes, I have. It's still every time I get an email from someone that I don't know, someone that's read my material, it is still exciting to me, and I love to hear from my readers the opinions that they have about my writing and how it affects them and how they can relate to the characters. It has been exciting. It has been a journey.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think that has to be probably one of the best parts of the experience. So another thing that you've been doing has been book signings. You know, you've been there with your books. I know in our home state of Mississippi, you've been there doing signings. I know you're going to be traveling as well later on this year doing signings. You know, to have your book available in a place where other authors are, maybe other authors that you have read, how humbling has that been for you, AnDerecco, to see, you know, all the hard work lead to that, to be able to have your book, you know, on the same, you know, shelf or same section as some of these other authors that you've heard about? Very, very humbling.
To see my work actually to be presented beside someone else that may have that is a veteran in the artistic world of writing, it is an honor, to be honest with you. I have one signing that's coming up in October, and I was invited to come to it, and it's in Memphis, and the promoter of that asked me to come there. And I was like, you know, it's an honor for somebody to know that I have some things that out there, that I have a voice that's out there in the literary world, and to know what I'm talking about as far as my genre, I guess you could say. It's very humbling. I enjoy it, and it's a thrill. You know, when I first started writing, it wasn't anything that I wanted to get famous for, but just to have a voice out there in the literary world is what got me captivated with it.
Gotcha. Well, now that is something that other people will be able to enjoy as well. Again, everyone, author AnDerecco is joining us. AnDerecco, I want to say our second winner for Undercover Lies is Janae Elliott Bennett. Janae, thank you so much for participating. We'll be sending you your own copy of Undercover Lies. We'll be telling you guys also how you can get your copy as well. AnDerecco, stay with us. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about Undercover Lies and Torn, what it was like for you to kind of bring these stories to life, and also let our listeners know how they can get their own copies as well, okay?
Okay.
You're listening to us here at 92.3 FM for our radio listeners, but online around the world, thanks to Blog
intricate tale of love lost and found through engaging characters, a riveting page-turner. Four high schoolers' lives are about to intersect in romance and scandal. All DeMarcus, Kiera, Deshaun, and Cameron as they face the challenge of keeping the faith. Hell had no fury like undercover lies and being torn. Order yours at AnDerecco.com.
George A. Santino is back again with another original song, When You Walk Through the Door. Since retiring from Microsoft at the end of 2011, George A. Santino has returned to his musical roots, releasing 2 albums, Come Fly With Me and The Magic of Christmas. His first original song, The Magic of Christmas, was also made into a music video that now has over 123,000 views on YouTube. His new single is a love song that takes us through a lyrical journey of when he first saw the woman that he's now been married to for over 33 years. It's a moving tribute to a lasting love. You can find George A. Santino's new song, When You Walk Through the Door, on Amazon, iTunes, and CD Baby. And when you get a chance, check out his website at www.georgeasantino.com. Again, that's www.georgeasantino.com.
Geico has some bad news. There is no money tree.